All right, what's up, everybody? It's Nick Harrington here with the Effing Podcast, joined by Bo Belmer. Little mishap this week with our recording. Bo and I were putting out a banger of an episode. We were probably 40 minutes in just for our number one producer to say, hey, we weren't recording audio. So what we have for you guys is a bit of a unique episode. We're basically doing a speed run through our 40 minutes. And then right when we get to the race predictions, we're kind of slowing it back down. But then we do some flashbacks to things we forgot to talk about in our speed run. So it's tag along, see if you can keep up with us. We're bringing you some headlines. We're talking U.S. Grand Prix. It's all happening here. Let's do this.
For those of you who are now listening, because we have audio, we just recorded 45 minutes
of a banger of an episode.
And we realized that we had an audio mix-up, which, we knew would happen eventually. So This isn't inevitability of life.
Yep. Mistakes happen. But now the good part about mistakes is to never make them again.
That's right. So here's what we're going to do.
Should we do a quick fastest
podcast
episode of all time?
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to sum up everything we just talked about in 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to jump in. Here's the good news. Okay.
Let me say, sorry, I messed up for the first time.
It's okay. No, we're not. This is a team.
It's bound to happen.
This is a team effort.
Yeah.
It happens. We did not double check.
Oh, man.
It is not on Jake. It's a team effort. And everyone listening, we love you guys. We respect you guys. We're not going to waste your time. We're going to recap everything we just covered so that we can still get this episode out. Okay, I'm going to rip through the headlines really quick.
We got headlines and we got a race this weekend.
Okay. Here are the headlines.
Put my mic down.
Here are the headlines that we talked about really quick.
Yep.
The major ones being Checo definitely needs to be worried.
Yep.
He's probably going to lose that seat. He's definitely going to lose that seat if he doesn't finish at least second place in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton is right behind him. There seems to be some turmoil with Red Bull with regard to who's in charge. Is it Marco? Is it
Christian Horner?
Yeah. We're not sure. To be determined.
Two big rumors out for Red Bull. Tension between Horner and Marco. That rumor got squashed. Another rumor that Sergio's either going to retire at the Mexico Grand Prix. That got squashed by Sergio. Another rumor that if he doesn't finish P2, he's not racing next year. That's it.
We made a very hilarious joke about the way in which he would retire if he does that.
Yes.
We're not going to be able to remake it right now, but I want you to know it's worth mentioning because was it very funny.
Okay, I think we should do our quick number twos of all time. Our best number twos of all time. Because we're saying that all Red Bull needs is just a good number two driver.
Yes, so we talked about
someone that just knows their place, someone that's going to finish in the top 5 every time, not take over number 1. And so we thought of our best number 2 people of things of all time.
Okay, so we're going to go back and forth rapid fire. All right, you go first.
Valtteri Bottas is the best number 2 F1 driver of all time.
Yes, agreed. Yep. The best number 2 after Valtteri Bottas is number 2 from Austin Powers. Nick had also had Mini-Me on his list.
Yep.
Very awesome.
Not as funny the second time. But
still was quite the coincidence.
I just rattle through yours.
All right. I had Pedro Sanchez from Napoleon Dynamite, Donkey from Shrek, Dwight Schrute from The Office, who technically isn't a number 2. He's assistant to the number 1, and Venus Williams to Serena Williams.
Yep. I had Robin with Batman and Robin. He knows his lane. He's going to overstep Batman. Root beer. Root beer is not as good as cola. It's the number 2 dark soda, and it knows its place, and they're never trying to take over number 1.
We had a 10-minute conversation about how root beer doesn't count. No one would call it a cola, but it's still a dark soda. So it's number 2 of dark sodas.
The dark sodas.
We also did have a brief conversation about how Spirit Airlines is the number 2.
Wait, I'm not there yet.
Okay. Go ahead.
Whoa. Stop.
Too fast.
Stop
it.
Powerade, not as good as Gatorade, knows its lane, comfortable in second. Spirit Airlines. It's a second-tier airline. You're either flying with Delta, United, or American. But guess what? If you don't, you're going Spirit. Spirit knows their place. And then I had Durex condoms because you're never going to Come and Go or whatever quick trip to buy a Durex. You're going to buy a Trojan. But guess what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You buy a Durex. Bo made a very insensitive joke saying, why am I not buying Magnums?
That's not true.
Yes, you did.
No, I don't. Show me the tapes.
I can't.
It's not true. It's not in there. Okay, diving into the Austin Grand Prix. This is the 51st time the Austin Grand Prix has happened. It was held in 1908. It is 190.
Are you just reading the Wikipedia page?
No.
I think you are.
It is 191 miles long, which is 308 fake miles, which are kilometers.
The first time.
I did. There are 56.
You never said this the first time.
There's no proof of it. There are 56 laps in the race. Important things to know. Last year, Sainz was on pole. Verstappen won the race. Hamilton took P2. Leclerc took P3. George Russell had the fastest lap of the race. The race. This is a pretty good track for Mercedes. They performed well here in the past. It's really weird track. It's the most American track of all time.
Oh, you're taking my thunder here. This is my bit.
Tell me why.
My bit,
Tell
bro.
me why.
I said this.
We only have 2 minutes. We only have a couple more minutes. Tell me why.
Okay, I said that the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin is the most U.S. thing of all time. First off, it's called the U.S. Grand Prix, and there's 2 other Grand Prix that happen also in the United States, but this one claims to be the U.S. Grand Prix. It's also the most Texas thing of all time. Number 2, it's called the Circuit of the Americas. It's claiming that this is the circuit of all Americas in the world in Austin, Texas. Number 3, this track makes no fucking sense. It's too long. It's like 3 different tracks that they just combined to make into one. For all those reasons, that's very American. This is the most American thing that exists in the universe.
Yes. Also, Danny Ricciardo's back.
Danny Ricciardo's back. We're gonna see him on a horse. We're gonna see
We already saw him on a horse. We just weren't sure if that picture is from this year or not, but whether or not it was, we're still gonna see him on a horse regardless.
Yep.
Also, if you are an American fan, you should pay attention to the grid walk this year.
Yep.
And because this is something you will actually care about, it'll be relevant to you. You watching the grid walk in Zandvoort, probably not relevant. Watching the grid walk in the Circuit of Americas, relevant. Who are we going to see there? We're going to see lots of people. We're going to see Shaq. We're going to see Matthew McConaughey. Serena Williams was mean to somebody one time, which is weird that she got brought up twice in this episode, but she did.
Megan Thee Stallion was also very mean to Martin Brundle.
And we couldn't remember if it was before or after she got shot by Tory Lanez.
I said before, both things it's after.
I'm
we
not
don't know
totally
yet.
sure. Also, Antonio Brown was mentioned, which is way too many times that we've mentioned Antonio Brown in this podcast, but he definitely won't be there. Taylor Swift might be there because a bunch of people, including but not limited to Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, recently bought a chunk of Alpine.
And I said that the NFL already claimed Taylor Swift as hers, so I don't think she will be there. That's what I said.
So this is something to look forward to. Also, is Daniel Ricciardo cringe? We haven't decided yet.
Yes, we talked about this too.
We're trying to determine whether or not he's cool or cringe. He definitely was cool at one time, but people can become cringe.
My opinion on my opinion on this is that Daniel Ricciardo used to be funny. He's a nice guy, fair, but he does a lot of these really weird, cringy video selfies of him singing in the car, and his funny to cringe meter, it's itching towards cringe. And I think it's now overpassed the cringe section, and it's getting further and closer and closer and closer to being cringe.
So we're definitely going to put up a poll, and you need to decide for us whether or not Daniel Ricciardo is cringe, or at least on his way to being cringe.
Yep.
And that brings us to the race. Oh, by the way, the sprint race this weekend, no one cares about that.
Yep.
So literally, Oscar Piastri is the only person who cares about that.
Ooh, okay, I think we're up to speed.
Wow.
Yeah, that was...
Now predictions.
So if you enjoyed that, you should...
That was kind of interesting.
No, we're putting it out.
It was really fast.
I'm releasing it exactly like that.
Yeah, I think you should.
No, I'm going to.
You know, we will.
Yeah, no, we are. Okay,
let's
race
do
predictions.
Race predictions. Yeah. Okay, so now we're up to speed.
Yeah,
now the listeners know everything that we spoke to for the first 40 minutes that isn't going to air.
No mistakes were made.
No, I think that was a pretty solid recap.
Fine.
I'm sweating after that.
The amount of veins I can see
I'm literally
in your
sweating,
right
bro.
now,
Listen,
I need a fan.
we just invented speedrunning podcast by accident.
We also talked about Captain Crunch. Is Captain Crunch a captain or is he a colonel? Because Daniel Ricciardo is a colonel of Kentucky.
Skipped that. We skipped that.
We said, would you rather be a colonel or a sir? Because Sir Lewis Hamilton is a sir. Bo goes, I don't want to be British.
Obviously, you don't want to be British. So the correct answer is colonel. We're the American show for the American fan.
Colonel.
We got into deep analysis. We made some jokes about P1 from Matt and Tommy. They're Brits. Get out of our face with that. Colonel.
Bo chipped his tooth.
Oh, I chipped my tooth. Yeah, for the 3rd time this year, same tooth. It's really embarrassing.
He looks better now.
But we're really not talking about it. Also, we might ask my doctor or my dentist for reverse braces so I can steal Michael Strahan's check.
I said give him a gap.
Yeah, that's everything you missed.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about predictions for the race.
Cool.
We're just going to jump
Let's just do race.
straight into qualifying P1, P2, and any silly stuff.
Cool.
Who do you think is going to qualify on pole?
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to qualify on pole?
All right, Bo, who do you think is going to qualify on pole?
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I really, I think it's going to be Max. Max is very fast.
Max
we know
is
that.
very fast.
I honestly, I wish so bad I had something more interesting to say, but I'm not going to make something up just for the sake of being interesting. Max is going to take pole.
Quick flashback to what we talked about earlier before we didn't get our recording. I asked, is Max Verstappen really good or is the Red Bull car very good?
Oh,
and to
that's
whence
true.
I made the argument that Sergio Perez is not performing very well. Max Verstappen is performing very well. You said that Max Verstappen is better than the Red Bull. And if it was 2 Checos, that they would not be winning. And you said track limits. Max Verstappen had 0 track limit infringements last race.
Yeah. My most poignant argument for this is that consistency is a really huge thing in F1. And if we look at the last race, the only driver who did not exceed track limits was Max Verstappen.
Yep.
That does not depend on the car. That's just how good you are as a driver. Would other drivers be competitive for the Drivers' Championship if they were in a Red Bull? The answer is obviously yes. Those drivers include and are limited to Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, George Russell, Lando Norris. And that's where we are.
Flash forward.
Back to
unpause.
And unpause. Back to modern times. Okay, Max Verstappen's going to qualify P1.
Yep.
Who do you got P1, 2, 3 for the actual race?
Let's go P3, P2, P1.
Yep, who you got?
I'm going to mix it up here just for the sake of something interesting happening. I'm going to go Oscar Piastri, P3, Max Verstappen, P2, and I'm going to go Lando fucking Norris, P1, baby, give it to me!
Let's go.
Whoa, okay. I would love to see it. It'd be really interesting.
That'd be electric.
Wouldn't we all? Would he do a shoey? I don't think so. He would do a shoey
would
and
do
look
something.
Daniel
Would he-
Ricciardo right in the face
if
and go,
you-
you see this bitch?
Lando, you have the opportunity to do something very funny and smash your own first place trophy if you win. That would be so good.
Smash
if he does
Max's
it.
second place trophy.
But smash yours into
Into
his.
each other.
Yeah, break them. Okay, my P3 is going to be Lando Norris. I think he's going to be on the podium again. I don't think this is going to be his first win, but I think he will make the podium. My P2 is going to be Max Verstappen, and my P1 is going to be Lewis Hamilton. I think, I keep saying it, Lewis is due for a win. I'm also happening to wear the Lewis hat this week. I'm not even that big of a Lewis fan. Actually, the Lewis fanboys don't like me because I called him cringe basically earlier this season.
Yeah.
But regardless, he's due for a win. Lewis Hamilton is going to get another win sometime soon. He bowled out his own teammate in the very first lap of last race. This is like a big bounce back moment, I think, for him. I think this is where somebody like a Lewis Hamilton shows his maturity as like a pro's pro. He's a very experienced veteran. Somebody like him takes a mishap like that and bounces back very strong.
Love it.
So I think he's going to get the win. Also, he is hunting Checo.
Yes.
To one, lock in the fact that they are taking second in the Drivers' Championship, or I'm sorry, the Constructors' Championship, but also two, because that number 2 spot is within reach.
Wide open.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so he's hungry for it.
Yeah, it's
So-
more like a pride thing for him.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's
am I really going to
becoming-
finish third as a 7-time world champion? No.
Yeah,
he's
after
not.
bowling out my teammate in the first lap last week, not happening.
Will Perez finish second this season?
No,
Hamilton?
I think it's going to be Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah. I think like that's the only guy that could do it theoretically. I don't think Alonso, he's in 4th right now, but I don't think he's got the ability with how that car is right now. Yeah, I think Hamilton's like, oh man, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, okay, here's another question really quick before we get out of here. Can McLaren catch Ferrari for P3? Okay, first of all, will McLaren catch Aston Martin? So McLaren's currently in P5, Aston Martin's in P4. The spread is 11 points.
Yes.
Okay, so undoubtedly McLaren will catch Aston Martin.
For sure.
Okay, will McLaren
I'll put my
catch...
life on it.
Whoa. Okay, Nick is going to be murdered.
Let me get that in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just write that down really quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Got
You heard it.
Okay,
Yeah.
you heard it here first. Does McLaren have a shot of catching Ferrari for P3? The gap is currently approximately 70
80
points.
points?
80 points. It's about 80 points.
No. They got a shot. I don't think they're gonna get it done though.
No?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't see it. Do you?
I don't think it's impossible. I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it is more likely that AlphaTauri does not take last and I win the tattoo bet than it is that they catch Ferrari.
So you like AlphaTauri passing better
Better
than McLaren
passing Ferrari. Yeah.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree there.
Awesome. Well, with that, this was the fastest effing podcast of all time and hopefully the fastest
Yeah.
ever. Unless if you really enjoyed this, in which case we're just going to speed run every episode.
Yeah, maybe we get like the most listeners of this one, and then we're like, we've been doing something fucking wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
Question for you, Bo. Will Daniel Ricciardo finish in the points? You need it.
Yes. See you guys next week.
Uh,
I'm out. We hope you enjoyed the effing podcast. Check out our socials for additional content, and we will see you out on the grid.